No siree, no static on this here radio station whatsoever. Well, we're loud and clear right here at Hazy Radio Network with live and spontaneous Grandpaw Coyote here on the Koyote Medicine Show. Oh, getting your early in the day underway and letting you know how good it feels to be alive, wouldn't you say? Now, you felt your heart coming out. You felt your heart in motion ever since we began this little bit of motion we call musical tunage to make your heart large. Are you finally starting to feel what's real inside? I mean, is that the deal? Now, sometimes it's kind of unpleasant, because when you start to feel what's real or what has been real for you, sometimes it's not always that, warm, fuzzy feeling, huh? Sometimes it's something not so fuzzy, not so warm. Yeah, let's take a look there. What are we seeing here, man? I look in my life and I see this pattern that began when I was a child that for some reason has never quite been able to rectify itself and get over itself. Now, ooh, that's good coffee. Good morning, babies. I love you so. Clink, clink, clink all the way around. If you haven't got your official Coyote Club mug, get on over to thecoyoteclub.com and get it on. Also, don't forget our 2017 calendar is a hell of a holiday gift. If you hurry up and order it now, you might get it in time. Yeah. But there's no urgency. 2017 will wait, just like Grandpa does, waiting for y'all to come around, myself included. But my own heart is revealing to us today part of the plan, part of what we're here for, part of what we're here to resolve away. See, because everybody, like we discussed yesterday in our little segment, and got there with it a little bit, didn't we? Everybody has that more or less, let's call it an adaptive side. I call it an implant because that to me is what it is. It's implanted behaviors that we adopt because we feel at some basic and primal level in ourselves that's what's necessary to get along in this world. Now, most often, these are very hard and angry feelings, vengeful feelings, feelings that don't want to take shit from nobody, but give shit to everybody. You understand my meaning, people? The empty side of ourself. Yet it doesn't feel so empty. It feels, when you pay attention, when you see it there. Now, it's an aspect of your heart you cannot deny. Every human develops some behavior like this. Every human. Part of the plan here, part of the formula we live under. Live out from under, as the case may be in this generation of time, I reckon. Because, babies, we're finally starting to unwind. We're finally starting to get somewhere we've always needed to be. And that's what? Back in our heart, don't you see? And as you come back into your heart, you begin to see all aspects of behavior that you're living in. So you not only have the warm, fuzzy love that creates everything and makes you feel so good, you also have the empty, cold, heartless little shit that says it's all for me and none for you and whatever. I mean, however it displays itself. In my own case, it's an angry rejection of the world around me in cultural terms. In other words, I could never see or accept the reality of untruthfulness, of capitalism, which I call crapitalism, which doesn't give a shit about anybody and only cares about the money. And thank goodness not everybody lives that way, or we'd all been dead long time ago. There's many caring people scattered throughout the capitalistic system, and these have been our saviors. You damn right they have, because they operated with some form of conscious presence in the money world, which has no conscious presence, which doesn't give a shit for anything but more of itself, which is an empty, hollow feeling. Oh, well, there we go again. But see, even something as unproductive and cold-hearted as that has been and is being used in very productive ways by certain people in this reality. Not everybody's a Dick Cheney, thank God, or a dodo-headed Clinton. You know what I mean? Not everybody is a dumb-bum Trump. Some people actually have a little caring, a little heart, and they actually employ it in their lives as much as they practically can. Everybody pays their dues to money, and it's faultless perception of profit and loss. And everybody lives their life accordingly. And if you lose, man. But guess what? When you lose, you gain. I mean, well, you just have to learn how to play the game. There's freedom on both ends of this thing, but there's slavery all the way throughout, you see. And we get pissed at this. When we're little children, little babies, man, born in fresh form, we're here to perform miracles of creation, to live creation, to feel it, to know it, to love it, in the way that only a baby can. And then, as we grow older, actually meant to be the creation, to let our heart be that big of an influence in our life, that all life is created from the heart. Everything that we're living, everything that we're doing. And that's why we're looking at this unrectified side of our heart. It's kind of like, well, for me, it's over there on the right side, or left side, way over there on the left side. For you, it might be way over there on the right side. But it's that split presence from your full consciousness. At least it seems to be. But you got to trace the root. It goes right back to where everything else begins. Right there in the very base of your love, the very center of your heart and soul. Some call that the solar plexus. Yeah, it goes a little deeper than that, but it's the rooted reality. See, all life, no matter how separate it might seem, comes from that same root. The Mother Earth, of course. The mother love, the water in the mother love. You see, the fluid flexibility, there we go again, right? Right. So in reality, can there be this hardness? In reality, can we really be this angry with life? In reality, aren't we still the love we were born to be? Haven't we just developed behaviors here to make us look a little more like everybody else? Angry and mean, so that people wouldn't screw with us, but people screwed with you anyway, and you win, you lose, you win, you lose, you lose, you lose, you win. I mean, round and round and round we go, playing a game that goes nowhere. Yet, if we just show that we care a little bit, and we only do things that make us happy and is pleasing and fulfilling to others, I don't care how simple it is. Maybe it's janitorial work. Maybe like me, you just love being of service and bringing people their dinner, as a truck driver, etc. I mean, as long as you feel good and you care, baby, that spreads everywhere. And that's what's kept this world going forever and ever, is people like that, the little people that give a shit. Because they never get big. The ones that care, and I don't care, maybe their caring is misdirected. It is care just the same. And because of that caring, because it comes from the heart, baby, it resolves a lot of the nastiness we see on the other side of the counter there, over there on the bankster gangster side of things, you see. Of course, in an ideal world, we don't need no money. We don't need no bankster nor gangsters. And none of us has to be tough. And none of us has to resist. And none of us has to fight our way out of anything. All we got to be is the divine love that we are. And we don't got to be that. We just are that naturally. Look at the baby children before they're messed with by this system. Look at the purity inside of yourself, in your own life. And look where this anger comes from. Because weren't you mistreated right away in this world as a tiny, innocent baby child, slimy with your mother's blood? And they beat you. They put crap in your eyes. They scrub you down. They treat you harshly. You see, they remove you from your mother and don't give you a chance to suckle, etc. I mean, there's a gazillion ways of going about being cruel to a child that here are accepted as normal practice, a part of the world we live in. Hey, cruelty's built in. Don't you know? We got to be automatically cruel. So automatically a child will begin to develop a defense against that cruelty. And a way of avoidance, if it can. Or a way of dealing with it if it can't avoid it. You see? And that's where these harder sides of ourselves come from. Sometimes they're really harsh enough to cause us to become self-destructive. Because we don't feel worthy of the life, because we're not treated right here, right from the get-go. A lot of people feel that way. That's where a lot of the misery and suffering, the empires come from, is people that feel that insufficient within themselves. So the only sufficiency they can find then is to sell themselves out and try and prove differently than what they're feeling inside, the unworthiness, in other words. You see, that happens a lot in this world. Because baby children are so sensitive, and we are treating them, even those that are well-intended, treat them so cruelly, you can hardly imagine it. But you go back in your life, in your honest moments, and you'll see it there. You had a loving mother, loving father. Guess what? They mistreated you. They were cruel. Cruelty is built into this system. It's a part of it. It ain't the fault of money. Money just follows the flow of cruelty. Cruelty is what we accept here as part of the norm. And it's total bullshit. And it's no wonder that part of our heart rebels against that. And however warped its rebellion might be. Hey, when you're tiny and you're new to the earth, what do you know? You develop behaviors over which you have no control. And if others more devious than you are messing with you in an outright cruel way, well, it makes it even worse now, don't it? And it makes you real controllable. So watch your angry feelings and see if it doesn't feel like they're coming from some external source, that you're being influenced by externalism, not internalism. Ism. Well, we got to give it some isms now, don't we? But it's just like, that's the difference between living from the heart completely and having the heart totally dedicated in all moments of the life and seeing it fractured and part of it, gone in that angry direction because it feels like it has to do that to survive here and thrive here. In some people, it gets very cold, calculating, and increases the cruelty 1,000-fold. In others, it's so unacceptable that they vomit the life back on everybody and don't do a damn thing here because they just don't feel like it's worth it. Yet in others, the rebellion becomes, after a while, a very creative thing. But they do, after living in the cruelty of it, and heaping that cruelty on yourself, because inevitably that's part of it, and going through whatever your part is in that, inevitably you come to this place where cruelty is just not acceptable anymore. It's not a thing of the heart. It's not a way of life. And we're not just going to automatically accept that. Whether it's a surgeon's scalpel or the spanking of a baby and the throwing of silver in its eyes. All of these things are insane and unnecessary. Except if you want to promulgate a feeling of cruelty and a defensive nature that comes about that and keep the warlike attitude going forever. If you want people to feel insufficient so that you can control them and push them around and get them to do, quote, quote, your bidding because you feel so separate from the rest of humanity. See? Cruelty is born of separation. Cruelty is born of this feeling that you're not connected. This feeling that love would have nothing to do with you, so you might as well be cruel through and through. That's where Hitler's come from. They surrender to the energies and powers around them, the darker ones, because they feel like there's no end to the cruelty, so they might as well just go with the flow and be even more cruel, right? Only they don't even see it. They go to sleep, and they're controlled in an unconscious way. Though their presence feels very much alive, they're not. They're barely here. What little existence they have left. All of that charisma, all of that bullshit, that is just an extremely hypnotic monster working through them, let's say. Extremely so, because people, like I say, we're meant to work on automatic pilot. And when we're not working on automatic pilot from the heart, well then, something else might be there wanting to take its place. See, this has been a world of opposites. Of, extreme goodness and extreme badness. Very opposite. Polarized, as we call it, see. We wanted this experience in polarity as soul presences, heart presences in this creation, the very children of the mother of creation. We wanted this experience so that we could know and perform in an otherwise direction, so that we could appreciate the love that we were created within, the love that creates all of it, the love that's in everything. So we chose a relatively safe space of being out here in this paradigm we call Mother Earth, this 3D, to experience that polarity. But notice, as we're sitting here now looking at the various aspects of our very own heart and the behaviors involved therein, we're starting to see the unity of the heart. See, because it's all created of the heart. The cruel and the uncruel. The good, bad, and the ugly, man. It's all there. And the beautiful, too, because that's what we are. And the more we can appreciate the beauty and the wonder of it all, the more solidly prepared we are to allow ourselves to root down deeply in this feeling Mother Earth and blossom like a son of a gun and show this universe what the children of the universe were created for. To rehabilitate our creation. To go to hell and back. Hell and back. Hell and back. You know, in fact, to the point where hell seemed more natural than paradise does, right? Because we sure lived there long enough, haven't we? But it's all in the perception you're living it in, you see? And we're changing our perceptions even as we see the harder, darker, harsher sides of ourselves, the more cruel. And we're treating that aspect of ourselves gently. And we're treating ourselves gently because we know we've been out of control in that aspect. And that aspect has had some control over us a lot. And it's caused a lot of unnecessary misery in this world, especially for ourselves. Unavoidable when you live like that. Yet, the misery is kind of a joke. Because even though you suffer, you're not suffering. See? There's that mysterious joy. I call it the sunlight. Behind all activity, that which creates the activity. It is like sunlight, warm on your skin, and moves you like the sun does. To do certain things in certain ways, see? And the more we hear that language of love coming through us, the more we live it. And the less cruelty you're going to see practiced here. Because people will begin to feel less and less detached and more reattached to the bulk heart of humanity, the collective heart as I call it. All of us together in a sense and a purpose of oneness. And this is why we have similar behaviors and deal with similar problems at the same time. That's a living demonstration of our collective nature and our collective way. And it covers the mass of humanity. I know they've done their damnedest to disguise this from you, but it's true. When I say they, I'm talking about the invaders we've dealt with for so long now. Some call them draconians, some call them reptilians, don't matter what you call them. But we have been inhabited by, principalities and powers that go in different directions than our heart would have us be, haven't we? Yet, we understand now the nature of illusion and how that works. And that love is the standard here, and love is what water of life is made of, as well as all life made of the water, see? And that's the standard here, and it cannot be uninhabited. So consciousness is just merely being aware of the love in all aspects of yourself, especially the ones that you judge harshly in yourself, that have caused so much pain for yourself and others. And there's a lot of self-blame there. You have to, understand we've been operating as a collective under a burden that we blessed ourselves with, so it's not a burden. It's only a matter of seeing through the illusion of it, eh? Aren't you glad you tuned in on a trip and do today with Grandpa Coyote, live and spontaneous on the Hazy Radio Network? We're helping you expand and grow just a wee bit in my weakened condition. After having had all this miserable stuff heaped on me, hey, I'm not a victim, baby. I went into it voluntarily because I knew that's what I had to do. I had to surrender to this 3D and the wicked way for a bit. Couldn't help it. Could not help it, baby. It was part of my healing, part of this earth's healing, part of your healing now, because I've shared the deeper aspects of it with you, at least some of them. And we'll go to even some greater places. You just stick around, baby. This Coyote Medicine Show's developing in new directions. Just like you are. We're getting new starts all over the place. And me, Grandpa Coyote, I've been given another lease on life, another chance to share. Wasn't but a month ago I was wondering that if I'd even live to tell about it. And here I am, because you guys wouldn't let me go. Your heart called for more. You need it. I do too. We all need it. So I've been given another lease on life, on top of all the other leases I was given already. So in essence, you give yourself a lease on life by holding that energy for me and keeping me alive through the process I had to go through. And babies, I can't bless you enough for it. And it sounds like a selfish thing. It's not. Because without that happening, I wouldn't be here to share with you, you see. And it'd take a little longer to catch on. Somebody else would be, but, you know, here we are doing it this way. This is the way we wanted it. This is the way our heart has always wanted it. So this is the way we're doing it. Thanks to the goodness of saints like our sweet Mary J. and all the rest of this grandmother that has helped us come out and play in this vast collective of humanity that we live in. Time to be the living example of what you want it to be, don't you think? And how do we do that? Flow through these things as we see the individual aspects of creation expressing themselves in us as abject or beneficial behaviors, whatever. Just get that thing harmonized. See the root of it all. Root yourself down in this mother, and I guarantee you will get over all the empty feelings you ever had. And you will never again experience lust for or emptiness for anything. For you will have it all. For you are creation. And you will deny yourself nothing. And give yourself all that is necessary to make it right in this universe. Because you care. Always have, always will. That's what makes you so sensitive. And feel like you don't belong here. Because you don't see a lot of that behavior around you now, do you? Well, it's going to astound you what happens now because, well, ho, ho, ho. It's, you know, solstice, it's Christmas, it's New Year's, it's the way things are, baby. And you, my sweetheart, are getting there. Right along with Grandpa and all the rest of this crew and his vibe tribe we call the Coyote Medicine Show on the ever-loving, sweethearted HZ Radio Network. Ooh, the source and center of your very love, I tell you. And if it ain't, well, it's going to be, okay? I love you so, guys. Can hardly let you go.